My dad was conscripted in Saddam's army, and usually with army doctors, you're either covering up torture or you're committing torture. And he didn't want to do that, so he ran away.
I migrated to Australia in 2001.
I came to Australia in 1992.
We moved to Australia in 2003 after the invasion of Iraq.
I came by boat to Christmas Island.
Prior to that, I lived in a refugee camp for about 11 years.
Sometime in your life you feel at the time, now the moment, you shouldn't stay here. That's it.
So there was a war that actually broke out in my country. My parents had no choice but to flee. It was either you stay and you get killed, or you just, hope and pray that somehow you just escape to somewhere safer, yeah.
Like, we had nowhere else to go, and you just never knew when they were going to knock down your door and ask you for your papers.
I saw some blood in the floor when you go out in the streets, some sound of bombing.
Like, I have fragments of memories being on a bus, and the bus is full to capacity. I remember sleeping outside on the road and waking up.
Like, proper housing to live in, there was no electricity, no proper food, we didn't have school.
It's fighting for better life, fighting for education.
The Refugee Convention was designed by Raphael Lemkin, and the idea behind the Refugee Convention is that we have easier borders or more malleable borders to get through for people who are fleeing persecution. People had different attitudes towards refugees, and at the time after World War II that was really important. And I think it does go back to race. A lot of people who were fleeing persecution after World War II were European, and they were, might have been fleeing to other Western nations. So that made it a lot easier to accept. They looked like you. Maybe they spoke another language, but that's okay.
To notice that I was a bit different. Like, back home, I never really questioned anything. But then here, a lot of things cause you to start questioning, and then you're stuck in the middle of where do I belong? Am I here or am I there?
The decline of refugee rights is actually the decline of all of our rights.
And then there was the general public and everything that was happening in the media. And then when people spoke of refugees, it was always in a negative tone, and people constantly telling you to go back to where you came from. Or if you're in a shopping centre, they're following you around thinking, you're going to be stealing something or whatever. It's just, somebody always made you felt like you're not supposed to be here.
For someone who is displaced, you never have that sense of home.
I always feel like I'm lacking, and I always feel like I'm not good enough.
I think for lots of refugees and migrants, they are forced to be that success story just to prove, oh yeah, you were right for taking me on board, thank you very much, and just show that gratitude.
It's either if you don't become a doctor or a lawyer, then you haven't achieved anything. That's what they have in their mind. So there's a lot of pressure to try and succeed.
That asylum seeker, they didn't come to take any job. They came because they don't have safety in their country.
For me, there were always roadblocks. There were always things that I didn't pursue because I thought I'm not good enough, or I thought, what are the chances that they're going to hire an African Muslim?
You're coming into our country, you're taking our resources, you're not really contributing or giving back.
Thinking that refugees are going to come to Australia and take our jobs, take our wealth and whatever it is. It is much easier to blame someone who looks different to you.
They're Australian-born South Sudanese playing footy now. So it's they only acknowledge you when you've done something great.
We've got to be accomplished. It's not enough to just exist.
I know who I am, and whatever anybody else says, that does not define me. I'm proud of the person that I've become now, and I think I've finally found myself. Just celebrating me.
From war to, shark and boat, and land again. The old Nairan gone, the new Nairan come with the flag, and I'm proud I'm Australian.
I'm just proud to still be alive. Yeah.